This episode is brought to you by Starbucks. Smooth, bright, deliciously crafted. Introducing Starbucks Sensera Blend, their smoothest, brightest coffee yet. It's a new kind of light roast, one that's packed with so much flavor, it shines no matter how you brew it. So go ahead and try it hot, iced, black, or with a splash of creamer. Visit athome.starbucks.com/Sensera-blend-coffee to bring Starbucks Sensera Blend home.
Like every city steeped in car culture, Las Vegas has a lot of drive-thrus. But as concepts like walkability and healthy eating, and even the development of third spaces are trending, are drive-thrus becoming problematic? Today on CityCast Las Vegas, I chat with executive producer Sonja Cho Swanson and my co-host, award-winning food historian Sarah Lohman, and we get into the history of drive-thrus and which ones we actually like. Spoiler, Vegas is home to some pretty weird drive-thrus. It's Thursday, June 17th. I'm Dayvid Figler, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Sarah, you're my award-winning expert of all things food and food-related.
We're all award winners now. We're the best podcast in Las Vegas, thanks to Las Vegas Weekly.
I'm not resting on that laurel. This episode's got to be our entry for next year. So do you think that Las Vegas has more drive-thru businesses than other cities?
No.
Okay.
I don't know how to answer that. No, but I think that...
it seems like it, doesn't it?
We do have quite a few. I didn't do statistical research, Dayvid. I should have. And I'm sure those answers are out there. And I'm sure I'll be allowed to spend 8 hours preparing those. However, I will say, based on my educated guess, we do have quite a few. And that's for like two big reasons. One is that we are connected to Southern California, which is basically where fast food was invented and where the drive-thru restaurant was invented when In-N-Out first opened in 1948. They put together the first drive-thru as how we understand it. There was a two-way intercom that you ordered at, you pulled up, you got your food, da-da-da-da-da. However, I did just find out that drive-thru banking dates to the 1930s, but not here.
Oh.
So we're like Taco Bell. Sonja, hi Sonja. It all started in Southern California. Taco Bell, like all the burger places, it all started
there might have been prototypes here and there, but California really embraced it.
Yeah. Can I ask, Sarah, were there, this is maybe sort of an obvious question, but were there any drive-thrus before there were cars? Like, was there like a horse and buggy kind of like lean out over the wagon type of situation?
Get your liniments and your tonics.
Drive-thru. No. Like, I've not found any drive-thrus through cars. Like, even though drive is related to other actions, we really associate it to cars. What did surprise me was, despite the fact that Vegas was so centered around motor culture, in the 40s and 50s, drive-thrus came here really, really, really late. Like, we had our motor hotels or motels, and even the hotels had the, Dayvid, you're going to know the word for this, but what's the fancy word for the covered place where you drive your car up to the doors?
The porte cochere.
Oh.
The porte cochere. Okay. So we had the porte cochere, and, they were really elaborately decorated. So we sort of celebrated driving. Even driving down the strip was and is a thing, right? We had drive-ins in the 40s and 50s. Like, you would drive like a Swenson's or a Sonic. Do you know what I mean? You drive up, car hop comes out, your car becomes the restaurant. We didn't have drive-thrus until the 90s.
Wait, what?
What?
I know. This is the other thing that blew my mind because, I was born in 82, and it's like, drive-thrus have existed always. The answer is no. They've existed my entire life, getting food, but really even like Wendy's, McDonald's, and Burger King didn't add drive-thrus until the late 70s. So
wait. Fact check. Dayvid, you grew up in Las Vegas. You were here before the 90s. Do you remember any drive-thrus in Vegas before the 90s?
Yes. However, per usual now, Sarah has me doubting my own memories, and, it's the whole Mandela effect. I distinctly remember that fast food places had drive-thrus when I was a younger person. I know Banks did for sure.
Banks did. So
I remember going through the bank with the pneumatic tube is what they're called.
Yeah.
And you would,
Pneumatic tube.
Pneumatic tubes, right?
Yeah.
There's like, They always made that great noise.
Harry Potter.
But like, I haven't been able to, and I'm not going to say that they didn't exist. I haven't been able to document when a drive-through bank came to Vegas, but we might be able to assume that one came like a little earlier than the 90s.
Well, shout out to First Interstate Bank on Paradise between Convention Center Drive and Circus Drive.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, are there any historically significant drive-thrus in Las Vegas that currently are available for people to go check out?
There's only one historical drive-thru that still exists, I would say, and that's the iconic wedding drive-thru window.
Oh, the Little Whitechapel? Is that what it is?
Exactly, which started in 1991. And that's as early as any drive-thru, other than possibly banks, started in Las Vegas.
Well, and that's such a uniquely Vegas thing. Tell us a little bit about the history, Sarah, of the Little Whitechapel's drive-thru wedding, because they were the first, not the only one anymore. But what's it like? And how did it come about?
I have not gotten married there. We tried to pressure you into marrying your partner for this episode, and you refused, David, because apparently you're not a team player. So I have also not gotten married there, but I will say it does highlight one of the huge benefits of the drive-thru that I think is often overlooked, and that's accessibility. So the chapel's founder, Charlotte Richards, noticed that disabled guests struggled getting in and out of their cars to attend ceremonies. So she just thought, well, why don't we just have a drive-thru option? So it's a truly accessible option to get married in a hurry.
Yeah, it's an interesting site. Even if you're not going to get married, you could go do the drive-thru as a goof. You know, they'll let you, for a very moderate price compared to the actual wedding package, go through the motions without actually, legally binding yourself to another human being.
Like a mock wedding or
like a mock wedding or a faux wedding or renewal of vows or whatever. They're providing a service. They also have Elvis impersonator people to do the ceremony or whatever, and some people like to go for that. That's what they want. They want the drive-thru, and that I think leads to the next question. It's just this drive-thru culture, this car culture, this cheekiness of Las Vegas. I just wonder, have there been some that have come and gone that aren't around anymore that we remember as being sort of a part of our city?
Well, I don't know if you remember this, David. You might. Or even you, Sonja.
This is probably going to be from the 50s, and you're just doing an ageist joke right now, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
We're talking about the 90s, David, the 90s.
Okay.
We were all alive in the 90s, y'all.
We were alive in the 90s. So, interestingly, when you start researching this, most sources say that In-N-Out opened the first drive-thru in Vegas. They did open the first store outside of California in Las Vegas, which I actually think is pretty cool. And that was a big deal, David. You do remember that.
I remember how big a deal it was, sure, because when I was around in the 80s, In-N-Out was already iconic, right?
Yeah. So they opened in 1992, but the wedding chapel was 91. And then, thanks to friend of the pod, Corey Leviton, writing over at casino.org, he wrote an article about drive-thru gambling.
Yeah, sports books.
Yes. So at Imperial Palace was the first one that opened up in 91. And even though baseball isn't a super popular sport to bet on, or wasn't, it does coincide with the hottest summer months here.
Yeah,
so
it
became popular because you could bet on it without leaving your car.
Yes. Give me that AC blasting.
Now, the Imperial Palace, for newer people, is where the Link Hotel is now on Las Vegas Boulevard.
Wait, so how does that work? How does that, you just roll up, hand them a little piece of paper with your, picks on it, your bet, and then drive off?
Well, sports betting is pretty easy to do.
Yeah, drive up banking. I actually do have a description of how one of these works, Sonja. The second one of these to open up was the Fiesta in North Las Vegas in 95. And as opposed to a booth, this was almost exactly like a drive-thru bank. According to Corey, it said sportsbook attendants used two-way speakers to communicate, and money and betting slips were placed in plastic canisters that were whooshed back and forth with the casino via pneumatic tubes. Yeah, people would do it with kids in the back and stuff. So, I don't know. I mean, I see families walking around casino floors all the time, so I don't know if that's particularly awful.
Not supposed to, but yeah. Well, I mean, it was definitely the culture.
But anyway, they closed down basically because of the internet. We didn't need them as of the year 2000. There was just other ways to do it, and apps and things like that. So that's why we don't have drive-thru betting. But I do love that we're home to two unique drive-thrus that opened up first, the drive-through wedding and the drive-through betting. Drive-through wedding and the drive-through betting.
Two things that we were both very known for.
Deeply Vegas.
Also cannabis, right? The Nuwu dispensary has a drive-through, doesn't it?
They do.
Is it the first in the country?
Well, it's the first in Nevada, and I'll tell you why, is because it
Nuwu
was specifically banned when the initial marijuana rules were imposed.
Wait, drive-throughs were banned?
Initially, they didn't want to have drive-thrus, but because Nuwu is on indigenous lands and they have a separate agreement with the state government, they were allowed to do the drive-thru.
Yes and no. So it's a little bit more nuanced than that, David, because yes, the Nuwu dispensary is on the reservation. Reservations are sovereign territories within the United States, which means that state laws do not apply to them. Federal laws do. And so this was actually one in a Carbazon versus California, I believe, that basically said just because you're
throwing laws at me.
I know a thing or two. The Carbazon is a band of indigenous peoples in California, and they were basically the first ones to say, like, just because your state says we can't gamble, that doesn't apply to our sovereign nation. And so that was the big shift that opened up indigenous casinos and also really changed things in Vegas, too. But that's also why they were able to have a drive-thru, which are still pretty rare. I don't feel like there's many cannabis drive-thrus in Vegas.
No, I don't think so either. They were definitely the biggest one. And I have used it go place an order, and it's so convenient. You just sort of go online ahead of time, although you could do the speaker just like in and out too. And then you just drive up and, they check your ID, obviously. And then you just do your exchange. And it comes in a sealed bag and you drive away. You know how sometimes you just want to try something new, something local, special, maybe even a little inspiring? Well, that's Crush Pad Wine Bar. Crush Pad, it's a locally owned, award-winning wine bar created by a husband and wife team, both certified wine pros who believe wine should be fun, welcoming, and never pretentious. And on Saturday, July 26th, they're hosting their biggest event yet, the Grand Wine Tasting. It's going to be a beautiful evening of more than 25 wines poured by local wine experts. You get a raising table of charcuterie, a take-home artisan goblet, live music, and it's all for a great cause, supporting the Nevada Ballet Theater. Tickets are $150, or you could go VIP for rare wines and early access at 6 p.m. Space is limited, so grab your tickets now at crushpadwinebar.com. That's crushpadwinebar.com. And hey, there's going to be a lot of wine involved, so be safe and consider taking a rideshare. Again, that's crushpadwinebar.com. Go check it out.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
I think drive-thrus really had their moment of late during COVID because people didn't want to go inside, and it was a lot easier to kind of get what you need without as much human contact.
Because I think they're realizing, like, why deal with the expenses of an interior space when you can sort of minimize the business.
Actually, the pandemic, I think, is when Shake Shack and Sweetgreen added drive-thrus. And we have a drive-thru Shake Shack now in Vegas, too. But, David, I know that you are also, in addition to being a law nerd, you're also an urbanist, urban design, sort of traffic nerd as well.
Just call me an Uber nerd.
The Uber nerd, the nerd of nerds. I've heard you rant about how bad drive-thrus are for urban design. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So there's a lot of reasons why drive-thrus should maybe be relegated to sort of a romantic past.
Okay.
The main argument is, especially, and we've talked about it on this podcast with the city nerd.
Yeah, Ray Delahanty.
Right, who talks about traffic design.
Such great YouTubes.
Is that the cars going in and out constantly, ingress, egress onto roads that people drive a lot faster than they should because of the design, are a significant cause of accidents for pedestrians, for people on bikes, and for other vehicles. There have been studies done. I saw one out of Minnesota that talked about just the significant double-digit increases in traffic accidents and, by result, fatalities around these drive-thrus. And you were telling me, Sonja, that there's law firms that specialize, personal injury firms that specialize in drive-through related incidents and, that sort of thing.
They've created whole targeted ad campaigns around drive-through accidents.
Asbestos.
I mean, there's a lot of other arguments as well, that in a culture where we do seem to move very fast in value efficiency over connection, that there are a lot of places.
Sorry.
I'm just saying. But if you just want to get...
I didn't say that out loud.
Yeah, that's fine. But, it's one of those things.
Dayvid, are you saying that we should all be sitting at a McDonald's staring into each other's eyes?
It's such an eye roll topic for me. Dayvid, I have uncontrollable disgust to the we need to connect more because my ass connects plenty. I have friends. I go out. I talk to people. I don't need to connect when I'm getting my coffee. And you know what? I still do. Those Dutch Brothers associates, sales associates, tell me my outfit looks cute. And then I'm like, your outfit looks cute. And I'm having a great day.
But you know what? You're not getting there, Sarah. You're not getting connection with a particular neighborhood. You're not driving up and then perhaps going to the store next door and all this other stuff.
I don't need it this way.
But that's what we try to do with urban development is we try to make a little bit more density, especially if we're building infill houses that there are places for people to walk to learn who is in their neighborhood to support the local businesses.
Here's the issue with walking though, Dayvid. Not everyone can do it.
No, understood.
So the other part of it.
Yeah, as a mom who has a baby in a car seat, when I can just go through that Starbucks drive-thru and get my little matcha as a treat and I don't have to unbuckle her and carry her out and wait in line and then the car gets hot and I have to go in and cool down the car again and buckle her up in the car seat again. Honestly, parenting with drive-thrus are godsends for parents.
Sure. And I don't think that the idea is anything more than put them where they make the most sense as opposed to on these what we call stroads, because it really does add to the congestion and it doesn't really add to the quality or character of those particular neighborhoods where people are living. So the further away from residential, maybe the better.
But imagine too having to get in and out of a wheelchair. So we're imagining these residential neighborhoods that are walkable but not necessarily accessible, right?
Well, they should be both, right?
Exactly. And so I think a lot of the attitude that I've read this too of the get rid of drive-thrus. There's even communities that have passed laws to ban them because not even because of the safety, because it ruins the character of the community. And I wish I didn't have to get out of my car for anything.
Well, let me throw one more thing at you, Sarah.
Okay.
One last urbanist argument.
Okay.
Do you like public transit?
Love it. If a light rail pulled up to a Dutch Brothers, oh my God.
Now we're
What's
talking.
More likely, Sarah, is that a light rail would take you to a business that you would get off at and patronize, and then at some point in the future after that, get back on the light rail and go either to your next destination or back home. And it's less likely with the more drive-through businesses, or the more likely with the businesses that you're not going to spend time at, like self-storage places, like car washes, etc. It's less likely that they would have the ability to build a transit on those streets. So the less drive-through stuff or the less short visit stuff, the more likely to have a more robust public transit. That's part of the argument as well.
And sometimes I want to do that, and sometimes I'm on my period.
I get you. I get
Period.
You. But, that's what suburbia is all about, baby.
Side note, when I was living in Seoul, South Korea, and I was taking the subway all the time, one thing that I loved about the subway in Seoul is that they have little tiny cafes and shops and
kiosks,
bakeries inside the subway station.
Love
and
it.
so there was a bakery in one of my go-to subway stations that would just make the entire subway smell of warm, freshly baked bread. Can you imagine? Plus, my commute was $1. So paying $1 for a subway ride across the city and having a fresh baked bun in my hand on the way, That's the commute I want.
Or like the little trolleys on the regional trains in the UK, and you have a hot tea and like a little Kit Kat.
Yes,
Listen, I
please.
will tell you, Sonja sent me on a day of drive-thrus, Dayvid. Ooh, on a day of drive-thrus, Dayvid.
Tell us about these places.
Yeah, walk us through. Tell us, like, name names. Drop your hot takes.
So what's the donut place? What's the barn place? Give me some names.
Sonja, you're going to have to help me.
Wicked Donuts is the donut place.
Okay, so I will say I went like early afternoon. They gave me double donuts. So like I ordered 2 different types of donuts and they gave me 2 of each because it was like a half hour before they were closing.
Fun.
On the other hand, those donuts were stale.
Oh, no.
So stale. So maybe go first
Bargains
thing in the
come
morning.
with strings. Bargains come with strings.
Then I hit Snappy's, which is a drive-through and a drive-in movie. So you drive up, you order your food. I got like a strawberry shave ice and a grilled cheese was delicious. Fries, delicious. The food was great.
And what movie were they playing?
Pulp Fiction.
Oh,
And
love
so I will say the only disadvantage there is that it is summer, and so it was 100 degrees. So you have to sit there and like blast your AC, and it's still kind of hot. So like better fall, winter, spring, but still I had a wonderful time. You tune in on your radio just like at the drive-in.
So you had a Royale with cheese while you were watching the famous scene?
No, I had a grilled cheese. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
I didn't even get a burger, but obviously you can.
All right, where else did you go?
Chicken place that's the shape of a barn.
Farm Basket.
Farm Basket.
Wow, an old school Vegas favorite, Farm Basket.
Yeah. And it's like a little, it's a little barn you drive through and you get some chicken. The chicken was pretty good, I gotta say. And then I went to a newer chain. It's like a chain in other places, and it's newer to Vegas. There's a couple locations called Salad and Go. And honestly, if I live closer to Salad and Go, I would salad and go more often because one of the big complaints about drive-thru food is that it's unhealthy. And it's salads, and it's grain bowls, and it's smoothies. And it was delicious, and it was extremely convenient and fast.
You know one spot that I haven't been to that I do want to go check out because I love shawarma is Shawarma Paradise on Flamingo and Decatur. That has a drive-thru. Have you been there, Dayvid? I thought you and Layla were talking about this recently.
I haven't been there, no.
I love a good falafel.
I think we have to even shout out some love to like Roberto's because other than Taco Bell, drive-through Mexican is not something that I saw anywhere out east. So like we've got our Roberto's, and I think that's encouraged other chains to also like offer like good, like definitely huge step up from Taco Bell drive-through Mexican.
I will say I have a particular soft spot for drive-through pharmacies. I think that's really important, especially if you're not feeling good, you don't want to go into a place. I guess it all comes down to urban design and thoughtfulness. So I do want more public transit, and I do know that the fewer of these type of businesses, the more likely transit will be better in our community. And so I have to come down against drive-thrus, at least new ones. Yeah.
I want to give you one more tease for the future that really sort of tickles me. Morning News, which is the breakfast spot by the Herbs and Rye people, right?
Yeah.
They actually built that in an old Wendy's. So first of all...
Was it a Wendy's or a Dairy Queen? Dairy Queen.
Okay. My server told me Wendy's, but,
because they still have a Blizzard machine in operation there. So I'm 99% sure that
And you know what else they still have? A drive-through. So, first of all, it's interesting to me that a lot of fast food places are shutting down and closing locations and closing drive-thrus because their food is not as popular anymore. And so I love that Morning News came in and like really refurbished this place beautifully. It's really cute inside, but there is this sort of like idea as I was like chatting up the surfer and the host that they're like, they've thought about like reopening the drive-thru. So I'm also here for drive-thru fine dining. I want it. I want really good food through the drive-thru, or just whatever the creative minds behind Morning News would offer through that drive-thru. I want it. I'm so interested.
You want a hash brown eaten on your steering wheel.
And a Blizzard.
Yeah. So let's bring it back to the central theme, y'all. Does Vegas uniquely among cities require drive-thrus? And if so, how can they coexist with us being more of a walkable, thoughtful city?
Oh, 100% we need drive-thrus. Yeah, I mean, we talked about the accessibility. We talked about the heat. I mean, the heat really is like the major factor. But the fact is that we live so much of our lives in our cars. I love that drive-thrus exist, and I want them in my life. I also don't want to live in a city that is full of drive-thrus either, right? I think it's about balance. And, Dayvid, I was thinking about what you said earlier around what drive-thrus do to like a walkable neighborhood. And I kind of think about our cars almost as these like little shells insulating us from other people. I think you're right about that.
I was going to call them death machines.
Oh, well, that too. That's so dark. Yeah. Okay. But they're like little like beetle carapaces that kind of prevent us from really like literally like brushing up against another human being. So, Dayvid, I've actually come around a little bit. I hear you. I do think that us being in our cars all the time kind of can actually prevent us from some real important on-the-street interactions with people that we're not otherwise going to intentionally go out and meet. So, yeah, could we be in our cars less? Would it be nice if the drive-thru itself wasn't as necessary because we could just walk up to a store because we're already walking as part of our daily commute and our daily routine anyhow? Sure. Is that going to happen anytime in the next 50 years? I really don't think so. So I think we need the drive-thru. I think it's here to stay. And I'm still going to go and get my Starbucks drive-thru like tomorrow.
I mean, and I've lived in neighborhoods where I could walk and do all of those things. But even in my walkable neighborhood right now, I can't really walk and do all the things that I want to do, Vegas is it's built different. So in some ways, the drive-thrus are a necessity. I hate driving. I love drive-thrus. I'd also take a walk-up window too, though. Anything so I don't have to like do the whole thing. Just like, let me get my coffee.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I mean, this issue isn't going anywhere as new businesses are going to be applying for their drive-thrus, but hopefully conversations like this will enter into the conversation of the city planners and all will work out for the best. So Sarah and Sonja, thanks for taking this ride with me.
Thanks, Dayvid.
Thanks.
And that's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed the show, hey, please go tell a friend. You could also rate our show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Till then, stay lucky. Well, shout out to the awkward teenagers. I love the employees of In-N-Out. They are
yes, they're amazing.
And then,
positive.
Sorry, In-N-Out teenagers. The Dutch Brothers teenagers are like really cool. If one of them compliments my outfit, my day is made.
There you go.
Oh, amazing.
I'm on cloud 9 for the day.